Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jet Setting Cruise review. Today we're checking out the Navigator to the Seas on a 3-night cruise out of Los Angeles to Ensenada, Mexico, plus a sea day. So let's see how the whole cruise went. So the Navigator to the Seas sails out of San Pedro, which is located pretty close to Long Beach. Don't get confused, there are cruises that also go out of Long Beach, that's Carnival. But Royal Caribbean operates out of this cruise port, which I've sailed out of before on Princess. So there's some signage that lets you know you're on the right ship. And just a quick few document checks, some security checks, and I was walking on board the ship up to the concourse level. The Navigator of the Seas is over 140,000 gross tons, so it's a pretty big ship, even though it's not Royal Caribbean's largest anymore. I hadn't been on a Royal Caribbean ship in quite some time, so I was really excited for this cruise. I did my muster station drill, which was in the Star Lounge, which is actually very conveniently located next to my cabin. My cabin, of course, was not ready until about 1:30 in the afternoon, so I got to wander the ship a little bit. I did have the unlimited dining package on this voyage, which I bought on the app for under $70, which is just a fantastic deal. You get lunch on the port day as well as the embarkation day in the specialty restaurants, and then you also get dinner each night at one of the specialty restaurants. So I got to try all those out, so we will show you those as well. I also had the beverage package, so I started my cruise off with Painkiller, and then went and played some mini golf because no one was on the ship at 11 a.m. when I got there. So this was plenty empty and I got to hit the links a little bit. Then I checked out the arcade. I noticed that I did not put the arcade footage in my Navigator of the Seas full tour, so you can check out this clip and then go over and check out the full tour link, which I'll put down below. I checked out Jamie's Italian for lunch, because I only had 3 nights on this cruise, so I had to choose one specialty restaurant that I didn't want to eat at for dinner. Figured that Italian was a good lunch option, and really was impressed with the food here. I chose one of the healthier options, I think. In addition to one of the pastas, you get a ton of food here. At all the specialty restaurants, you get a ton of food, but got some shrimp there as well as some grilled chicken. And then they insisted that I get some dessert, so I did try some of the gelato, which was great, as well as a nice little Aperol spritz. So definitely check out Jamie's Italian. I was very impressed. After that, I explored the ship a little bit more. Love the huge atrium on the Navigator of the Seas, right next to the Royal Promenade. It just amazes me that this is a floating ship that takes you places. The Navigator of the Seas definitely reminded me of that. So love the design of this ship. So I explored a little bit more, checked out the pool deck a little bit, and then it was about time for me to check out my cabin, so I can show you my cabin right now. So I was cruising solo on this voyage, but the balcony cabins were incredibly inexpensive, under $250 for a single. So I opted for that, which was a nice little splurge. And so coming in, you have all of your storage over here. You have some nice shelves, plenty of hanging space for all those formal nights that you might have on board. Though on this 3-night voyage, there's really just one that was suggested. There's not really a dedicated formal night. And then in the bathroom here, plenty of space. You have your shower, your sink, of course, toilet. You have everything you need. No single-use shampoo bottles in here. You have that pump over there on the right. But overall, I had plenty of room in there. I'm about 6 foot. I was able to fit fine. Then a desk over there in case you wanted to get some work done, or just a place to store all the paper that you get on board. Nice couch just to hang out on. And then you have the bed. So those are 2 twins that can turn into a, basically a queen, maybe a king. And then of course the balcony with a great view of San Pedro. So that's the room. Overall, pretty impressed with the room. Definitely needs maybe a little bit of a refresh. I think that they focus most of the refresh on the public spaces, which is fine with me, but just keep that in mind. Next up, I went to explore more of the ship. Still mesmerized by this Royal Promenade over here with all the bars. I was really excited for the bamboo room, so I did check out one of the tiki cocktails, a big tiki cocktail fan. Visited that place a whole bunch. Loved all the screens around that kind of made you feel like you were somewhere else. That was really, honestly, a great job by Royal Caribbean there. Pool deck started to get busy as people arrived on board. The lime and coconut over there to the right with some good drinks. Figured it was a good time to try out the flow rider. I tried the flow rider a couple times on this voyage. Got better progressively, so that made me happy. And then wanted to check out some of these slides as well. So you have Riptide and then the Blaster. And the Riptide, you use a mat and you go head down, and it's incredibly scary. There's a lot of water in your face. And the Blaster is your water coaster that you see in some of the high-end water parks, but you have this on board, which I think is pretty cool. In beautiful Port of Los Angeles with all the cargo ships. So we're getting close to dinner time here, so it was about time for me to check out Chopped Grill. But first I had trivia right before. Lots of trivia on board nowadays, which I'm a big fan of. And then here in Chops, started my culinary experience as we left a little late. We had some port issues, I guess. But it was fun to watch some of the cargo ships in this time lapse go by with my dinner. So that was pretty fun and made for some great views as I dined. So started with a cream of mushroom soup, which is always my go-to on a ship. I feel like I always have this on cruises and it's always delicious. Some ahi tuna as my starter. And then I got the big ribeye for my main. After my steak and a little bit of dessert, I headed down to Deck 3 for Stage B and the ice skating show, which is just awesome. Navigator of the Seas having this. Super cool. I was surprised that there was actually a drone show before, which I really haven't seen that up close, so that was super impressive and really cool. And they even used some of the drones in the ice skating portion of the show. So definitely don't miss this. It's really just a sight to see. They had this each night of the cruise, so you could fit that into your schedule as needed. The fun thing here too is right after the ice skating show was the Welcome Aboard show, which is just a simple comedian. Wasn't super impressed with the comedian this cruise, and was kind of hoping for more of a Broadway style show like they do on a lot of ships. As your Welcome Aboard. Next, it was Saturday, which all of the elevators like to remind you what day it is, which is pretty funny. Right in the glass elevators, up and down a little bit. It's our sea day. There's Chops Grill at the Windjammer before I grab some breakfast. The rock wall was open, so I did check that out. Got some exercise outdoors. Love the water slide. And then they were doing some stand-up surfing on the flow rider, which was pretty impressive. So a lot of good surfers coming out of California. And I did opt in to pay $20 to do the escape room. Never really done an escape room on a cruise ship. Only done one or two on land. So that was pretty cool. I thought this was really well done and worth the extra money. It was very well themed and very high quality of entertainment. Since it was a sea day, I did check out Hooked for lunch first. Was pretty impressed with this restaurant, both lunch and dinner. I got oysters for my starter and they said, hey, do you want 12? And I was like, go for it. So had 12 oysters as my opener. Again, this is all for one price at the beginning of the cruise, and then got a really high-end lobster roll, really fresh lobster. Definitely didn't skimp here. Great side salad and a delicious brownie dessert. So do not miss Hooked. Next, I tried and failed at Harry Potter Trivia. Checked out some onion rings over at Johnny Rockets. Didn't want a burger, but with the unlimited dining package, you do get like a $20 credit at both Johnny Rockets and Playmakers. Decided to use some of the drink package over at Trivia again for an old fashioned, and just enjoyed some of the views out at sea as I began my meal for dinner at Azumi, which is the ship's Asian restaurant. So there's no hibachi on board. But you do get this included with the unlimited dining plan. It's not a la carte like other ships maybe have. It's all one price. So you get a ton of food here, I'm warning you. So if you're into rice, if you're into fish, this is the spot. So the spicy tuna on the crispy rice is always a go-to for me at any sushi restaurant. Love that. Love that they had that on here. And then had a nice little seared tuna roll, as well as some chicken yakitori. So really great. And then they had some mochi flavored ice cream, I believe, for dessert. And this, not really being a long distance trip to Ensenada, it's about 200 nautical miles. We really moved very slowly through the sea. So if you're someone that really likes to see the ships move fast through the ocean, these itineraries are not for you. And then it was Sunday, so it was time to visit Ensenada. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that I was just on the Radiance, and this is actually a back-to-back cruise with the Radiance from Carnival. So this is my second time visiting Ensenada that week. So I wasn't really rushing off the ship. I had done a lot of the things I wanted to do, but I did enjoy having breakfast in the Windjammer and then spotting the sea lions off the ship. So I did check those out once I disembarked. Radiance actually was docked right next to us, so it was funny. I was just on there about 2 days ago. Flowrider was going, so definitely wanted to check that out as well before getting off. Here's more of the sea lions right next to the ship, so don't miss those if you're going to Ensenada. You get a really nice close-up look. And good views of the ship as I walk into town to get my favorite street food I've ever had. So this time in Ensenada, they actually had the bandera, the flag, up. This is the largest flag in Mexico. Really is quite a sight, honestly. But that's really close to the cruise port, so you can walk right over. So this is La Guerrerense Cartera. This has some incredible ceviche. I'm telling you, do not miss this. It's very, very reasonably priced, and if you're into ceviche or seafood, it's the best. Grabbed a cool shot of the flag. Then I headed right back to the ship because I really just wanted lunch. Didn't want to do any tours today. Wanted to enjoy the ship a little bit while everyone was on shore. NBA playoffs were going on, so I headed right back to the Royal Promenade and tried out some of the food and drink at Playmakers, which is included in my unlimited dining package. Again, $20 credit per person. They have some really high-end food. They got, high-end American food, I should say. Got a lot of beers on tap. But these kind of tempura onion rings were fantastic. Then after I watched some of the NBA playoffs, a sad sight to see was the baggage tags already in my room, so had to figure out what I was going to do getting off the ship that next morning. It's always a really pretty easy process, especially if you want to just walk right off the ship and catch your early flight. But first I had dinner at Hooked, so I was excited to try this again. They have an expanded menu at dinner. These cheddar biscuits that they serve you are fantastic. Opted for the oysters again, then got the surf and turf, which had a nice Caribbean lobster as well as a good piece of meat. And honestly, I liked the steak down here better than up at Chops. So if you're a steak fan, if you like lobster, I think this is a better value for you than Chops Grill. Lobster mac and cheese over there and some vegetables. And then we were departing Ensenada. We had a medical emergency with one of the passengers, so we left a little late. But really some great views at sunset as we were leaving Ensenada. It was sad to see it go, sad to see my cruise vacation ending. But I had a little bit more entertainment that night, which I was excited about. So I do like to gamble a little bit. Did win about $300 on one of the machines, so that paired some of my losses on the ship. That was pretty fun. Try out the Heidi machine if you're ever on board. I don't know why, but I just really like these shots. And then before you knew it, we're back in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, empty ship as you leave. Really sad. Decided to depart out of Los Angeles kind of last minute, even though I had a Southwest flight from Long Beach because it left a little earlier. So I grabbed some quick breakfast and was one of the first off the ship and through customs, which took no time at all. I just had one simple carry-on piece of luggage, so that was really easy. And in LAX, I was really surprised to see the new Amex Centurion Lounge, or at least temporary lounge, operating out of the Etihad Lounge, which I had been in before. If you follow my channel a little bit, you know I do some of the flight reviews as well, so I do like to travel the world like that. So that's it for my cruise vacation. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe.